What's going on? Welcome back to another video. What I have for you guys is the best 10 tips for you to be prepared for the Season 1 to rank up your weapons as fast as possible. This is going to put you at a huge advantage knowing all of this information now before Season 1 drops. So let's get into it. The very first tip that I have for you guys is make sure you play Kill Confirm. That is easily one of the best modes ever. I mean, Invasion is a good mode, but everyone has already figured out the method. It's not that good anymore, especially with everyone sweating and all that. But Kill Confirmed is not sweaty. It's actually really good for the reason that if you get kills in there, you get XP. Once you pick up tags, you get XP. You deny tags, you get even more XP. And there's just so much XP potential for you to get there. And the best thing about it is you can actually work on two weapons at the same exact time. So if you have, say, an AR and then a submachine gun, put those together into one class, use the AR to get kills, and then you'll swap to like the submachine gun to pick up tags. That means you're getting XP for both of these weapons. Whatever weapon you have out at the time when you gain XP, that's the weapon that will gain weapon XP. So yeah, that's a very important tip that I really recommend you guys do. Second tip that I have is switch to Scorestreaks. If you're going to be playing Kill Confirmed especially, make sure you switch from kill streaks to Scorestreaks. You can actually do that, and any XP that you gain from grabbing these tags or throwing decoy grenades, things like that, as I mentioned in past videos, make sure you use decoy grenades. That will help you towards the weapon XP, and it'll help you get your kill streaks a lot faster. And kill streaks also will give you weapon XP if you call in a UAV and get assist and things like that. But third tip, so that's for the kill streaks. Make sure you use a UAV, a counter UAV, and an advanced UAV. These will help you maximize XP. You can also use a VTOL instead of a counter UAV if you feel confident that you can get it often. Because if you get that and then say you pull out your secondary weapon like a knife or a riot shield, something that's hard to use, you'll be able to get weapon XP while that thing is getting kills for you while you have the weapon out. So that'll help you level that out really fast. The fourth tip that we have is do launchers, knives, and riot shields now. Make sure you start on them now. And by what I mean by that is put them as a secondary. Don't make it the main thing that you're going for. Make sure you use an AR, but then put on like a launcher, a riot shield, or a knife as your secondary. And then that way, as you're playing and as you're leveling up, as I mentioned earlier, swap to that launcher, pick up the tags, you'll gain XP for that. And by the time you level up, say, 2 SMGs, you'll have maxed out the combat knife or the riot shield or one of the launchers, and then you'll be able to do challenges. So, for example, one of the challenges is you need to destroy kill streaks and utility. For things like the RPG where you can't destroy kill streaks because there's no lock-on, you'll need to destroy claymores, C4s, and proximity mines, and it's not often that you just find them on the floor. So while you're working on an AR, maybe you'll see some, and then you'll just quickly switch to the launcher and get them. And that's how you'll be able to finish them over time. That'll help you out a lot. Now, let's go on to the fifth tip that we have right here is do the most overpowered weapons first. A lot of people will think, let's do the harder ones first, and then we'll work on the easier ones later, and it'll be better like that. It's actually not a good idea for the reason that Infinity Ward is always doing weapon tuning balances. That's how Call of Duty works. Every time a new COD drops, they are always going to be nerfing weapons, buffing weapons, depending on which ones are being used the most, which ones are not being used at all, which ones are being avoided, things like that. So for now, what I would recommend you do is you use the SPR, the Lockman Sub, the Hurricane SMG, the M4 AR, and the Lockwood. Make sure you use the most overpowered weapons, and you leave weapons that suck like the M16 for later, because once Season 1 drops, that is actually when they're going to be doing all the updates. They even posted this. They said all of the weapon tuning and balances are going to be happening with the Season 1 update. So you have from now until Season 1 to work on all the most overpowered weapons so you can get them finished before they get nerfed. But let's go on to the next one that we have right here, and that is going to be use different classes for different challenges for different maps. So when you're going to be playing a map that has no mounted areas that you can use and your challenge is to get 20 mounted kills, instead of backing out the lobby, you could pull out a different one that will be for long shots or something like that you can get those challenges done while you wait for the next map to do your mounted kills. So you won't have to keep backing out of lobbies or avoiding lobbies if you have multiple classes set up, and then you'll use a weapon based on that map and that situation. But the seventh tip that I have for you guys is understanding skill-based matchmaking. So if you're working on a weapon that you really struggle with, make sure you start on that weapon first and you continue with that weapon. Do not take a break from it and switch to a better weapon, because if you do consistently bad for 3 to 5 games, skill-based matchmaking will understand that you can't handle those lobbies. They're going to put you in easier lobbies, and it'll make it a lot easier for you to do those challenges. But say you're working on the M16, you're not having a good time with it, and then you switch to one of the OP weapons, and then you start dropping kills. Guess what? It's going to throw you back in those harder lobbies, and when you go back to work on the M16, you're not going to be having a good time anymore. So make sure you stick with whatever weapon that you are using, especially if it's one that you are struggling with. Now, going on to tip number 8, I feel like this is is one of the most important tips in here, is a double weapon XP and double XP event. So as you know, with usual Call of Duties, the first weekend of every Call of Duty, they release a double XP event, pretty much to celebrate it, to help you level up weapons faster. Now, if you notice, we haven't gotten that yet in Modern Warfare, and it's been a couple weeks now that we've had this game, and we haven't gotten it yet. But Infinity Ward has basically stated that the launch of Season 1 is going to be, to them, the official launch of Call of Duty. So usually CODs do release on November, and we got this game a little bit earlier. But when Season 1 drops, which is going to be next Wednesday, most likely, I'm like 75% sure that the following weekend is going to be double weapon XP and double XP. So they're going to have an event for that, because that's when you get prestiges, you get the battle pass, you'll be able to level up even more, and you won't be stuck at level 55 anymore. And then there's DLC weapons to level up and things like that. So when they do release this, make sure you're not doing any challenges during this weekend. Make sure you are strictly going up for levels. You're just playing for levels. You max out a weapon, go on to the next one right away. Challenges you can come back for, you can do them later. The double XP event is not going to stay for longer than the weekend. So make sure you just level these weapons up, and then you move on to the next one as fast as possible, so you can max out as much weapons as you can. And if you go really hard, maybe you could do like 30 weapons. And as you know, that's the hardest part of doing these challenges, is leveling them up. The challenges don't take that long, but to get the camos, you know, you have to max out those levels. But let's go on to the 9th tip that we have right here. Is going to be new DLC weapons will replace old weapons. So what this means is, when you do your challenges for gold and for platinum and Orion, as you guys can read from the challenges, it says 51, get 51. They don't say get all the weapons, they said get 51 of them, which means that when new DLC weapons drop, they will be able to replace them. This is something that is actually pretty common in other CODs. So if you don't like the M16 AR, for example, you'll be able to use a DLC AR that comes out. If you think it's more overpowered and it's better, you'll be able to use that when you do all the challenges, and it'll actually replace the M16's challenges, and you'll be able to get all of the ARs gold and platinum. So that will help you out a lot if there's weapons that you don't like. And then there's also 4 DLC weapons coming into the game, so you'll be able to replace some of the ones you're not a fan of. But let's go on to the next one, and this is the last and final tip that I have for you guys, and that is basically all equipment, all kill streaks, all tanks, vehicles, things like that go towards your weapon XP, if you didn't know that. So for example, if you go into ground war and you have a knife out, and then you jump into the tank, and then you get kills with the tank, any XP you get from those kills on the tank is going to go towards your knife. So it's going to level up that knife of yours. So it's going to help you a lot with the launchers, the riot shields, the knives, the things that you can't freely and easily get kills with. You'll be able to level them up that way. So if you call in a Vito, like I said earlier, and you get kills with that, you'll be able to use that while you have your riot shield out. You'll get some XP for that, and it'll help you go towards it. Same thing with throwing decoy grenades. If you throw a decoy grenade and you're getting like plus 15, plus 20 XP, any weapon you have out at the time is going to go towards that. Same thing if you get a kill with any of your equipment. If you get a kill with a bouncing Betty or something like that, whatever weapon you have out, same thing. So make sure that you are using that to your advantage. And I hope these tips did help you guys out. If you guys have any tips that I left out and I just completely forgot about, comment it down below and let us know, so we can take advantage of the Season 1 update and we get that Orion camo and get everything maxed out as quick as possible. But it's been your boy Tridzo. Hopefully I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Peace.